Hello, Mr. James. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How about yourself?
I'm great. Good to have you in our podcast today.
Same
Viewers,
here.
we have a very important personality in our podcast today. His name is Mr. James. He's a business owner. In fact, not just he's an experienced business owner that have built successful business in three different fields, from investment property with Holland and James to financial management with American Anointed, and 2 decades in the music industry with the Ray of Light Music. Mr. James, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about how AI is impacting these your businesses, because now I don't want to limit you to one, but if you want to talk on one, that's fine. But if you want to talk on all of them, how, you know, the impact of AI, how it's reshaping the business as usual is no more what it is, or how it's fine tuning it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And of course, some other things that you want to share in this podcast so that the audience will, that are here today will take away something on how you've built this business, because it's not an easy feat to build three businesses and you're still running them concurrently. So today, this is how, before we jump in, this is how the podcast is going to go. It's going to go in three parts. One, we're going to talk about, you know, um, your background and the industry trend you're seeing.
Hmm.
Then we'll discuss about your current challenges and the vision you want in any of these your businesses or three of them in the next 1 year. Then finally, we'll wrap up by exploring any next step if it makes sense. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Okay, great. So, like I said again, it's a discussion, it's not an interview. Just take it how long you want, how much you want to share, and where you want to take it to.
Hmm.
And if there's any other areas you want to throw more light on, because again, I saw you have like an investment seminar coming on. Is it in August? If you
Yes.
want to throw light on that, that would be great too. So let's take it away. Can you share a bit about your role and how it fits into the bigger picture of these your three companies, or even one of them? The choice is yours. How you want to take it?
Well, I am the owner of all three.
Yeah.
Um, the music, which is ROL Music, Ray of Light Music, that is
Mhm.
a S corporation. So I have a board of directors with that one. And America's Anointed is a LLC partnership that I have, and my wife is the partner of that one. And then I have Holland and James, which was a partnership, a real estate partnership LLC until this year. And now I'm the sole owner of that. I had two previous partners of that company, and now I'm the sole owner of that one. So that's the structure of them. They all, like you said, they're all very different. ROL Music, I have bands and musicians that I book for different events, from weddings, corporate parties, music festivals, those type of things. That's what pretty much that entity does. And like a couple of the bands are wedding bands, and a couple of the bands are tribute bands. It's called tribute bands because they specialize in certain genres of music. Um, America's Anointed is the financial piece, where I educate people on how to handle finances and manage money and how to invest. Um, I invest under that entity myself, personally, as well as educate others under that particular company. I have classes. I'm teaching a class right now that started 2 weeks ago, and Cherry Hill for the Black Investors Group. And then there's going to be, I think, like you mentioned, there's going to be another class in April. that I'll be teaching at the Kennedy Center in Willingboro. And then there's another class, and I'll be teaching at our church upon my fellowship. On all of those are pretty much, those classes are involving in stock market investing predominantly. And then there's Holland James, which is a real estate company where the Holland James is the buys property and rents property to tenants. So we are basically a landlord, and we generate income by getting rent for our properties.
Okay, awesome. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you balance creativity and strategy across such different ventures? And what core principles tie them all together?
Well, there's really nothing that ties them all together except me.
Okay.
I'm the only I'm the only common thread between those companies. But other than myself, since this is a AI focused conversation,
Mm,
AI has helped a lot in tying those together because it's helped me to with marketing. It's helped me with creativity. It's helped me with just general structure and saving time. That's basically how AI is benefited and for business owners. Um, and I'll give you an example for each one. Like for the music business, um, I used AI to structure a new project that I'm going to hopefully kick off this year, which is a new tribute band that I'm going to put together that basically chronicles the years of funk music and funk bands from the late 60s to the early 80s. And I needed AI to help me structure, because what I want it to be is not just a band. I want it to be a musical, like a play. So I needed, since I've never written a play or never done a musical, I used AI to help me put together a script for that will highlight that time of that musical genre and that period of time. And so it's going to be similar to how there was a play about Motown, I think, that came out a while ago. I think maybe still running about the Motown era. So this is a similar thing, but it's about the funk music era. So AI helped me tremendously and put that script together. With America's Anointed, which is my finance my company that educates on finance, I use it for my clients. I have spreadsheets that I keep for my clients, and I have a master spreadsheet where I keep track of a lot of stock and ETFs that are out there and what they're doing. And AI helps me to update that spreadsheet so that I know how each stock and ETF is performing every month. So that helps me and and it also gives me, I can get the top performers each month of the whole list of almost 300 stocks. Um, and it just does it just like that. It gives me, what the top performers are, and without me having to do a whole lot of research. So that helps me greatly in that area. So that saves time. As far as Holland and James is concerned, I really haven't used AI too much with the real estate company. Um, and that's because I have a project, I'm sorry, property manager for that I use, and the property manager pretty much takes care of most of my pain points with that with that business as far as like maintenance and looking for tenants and all that kind of stuff. The property manager takes care of that. So I really don't have too much AI interaction for that company, but the other two definitely.
Okay, awesome. Well said. So how do you leverage these diverse experiences to inform you or to inform your current strategy and differentiate your services?
Um, well, since they're so different,
Yeah.
it's easy. That's easy to do because there's none of them are really related to each other. So there's a vast difference between each one. So the strategy is pretty easy. I come up with a strategy for each one. Like, my this year we wanted to, for the music business, we were our goal was to definitely increase the number of weddings we do this year compared to last year or in the past, and which we've been successful at that. So now we've almost doubled the amount of weddings. So that was the strategy and goal for that. Also, I wanted to put together, like I said, this musical. So it's not that's not completed yet, but that's still a goal. Um, as far as America's Anointed, the strategy for that company was to increase my number of clients and classes that I teach. And so far, that's pretty much, I usually teach like maybe 2 classes a year, and now I'm probably doing 4. And I had maybe started out with maybe 10 clients, and then like that may be almost double by the time we're all said and done. So that's going well as very well too. Regarding Holland James LLC, um, one property that I reluctantly sold. I didn't want to sell it, but the tenant really wanted to buy the property from me. They didn't want to. They didn't want to on this one property. They didn't want to keep renting. They wanted to buy a house, and they didn't want to move all their stuff out of the house they were renting from me. So they asked if they could buy the house, and I had I had 2 other partners, and they voted to sell it, and I voted not to sell it. So I got outvoted. But so uh, now the strategy for this year is to find more properties for renting.
So,
Hmm.
okay. So what major shift are you seeing across these industries now that you're operating?
The shift.
Mm.
Um, I think, well, business wise, I think the shift is businesses are going to be using AI more and more. AI still it's in its infancy, which means that it's not perfect. You still have to do your due diligence and review it, check it, check the data, ask the right questions. But I see that it's making an impact on definitely smaller businesses because it's enabling more time for business owners to plan and achieve their future goals rather than spend time and money on the current operation. They can focus more on okay what's ahead, which is great. That's where I see everything moving, um, and it's a good thing, um, because time is you can't get it back. So if the less time you spend on doing stuff that's not moving the company ahead, and the more detrimental it is. So I think companies are going to definitely benefit by um, AI in the future, and that's the strategy, and that's the where we're heading with that.
So well said. So, what is working well for you right now, and what has been frustrating?
What's working well and what's frustrating?
Mm-hmm.
Um, hmm. Well, everything's pretty much working well. But the frustrating part is just the little details. Uh, can be frustrating. There's always there's stuff that you can't control, and it's the stuff that you can't control that may lead to some frustration because things will come up and you're like, how did that happen, or how did this happen, or how much is this going to cost, or where did that come from? Those type of things can be frustrating, but that's all part of it. So you just gotta work through it and as best you can. Those little um, pesky problems that you
Can you
can't.
give an example of what you mean by those stuff? Is it something you do? Is it private stuff, or is it something that you?
No, it's
Okay,
not. It's not
example.
private stuff.
Mhm.
It's more like logistical things. How we're going to get equipment if we have like more than one. Like for example, in the music, there's some dates we have more than one wedding on the same day. So how do we make sure that we've got the teams ready, the equipment ready, and it's going to get to where they need to be um, for each wedding that's been booked on that day. Making sure that there's enough equipment, make sure it's the right equipment, make sure you got the right staff, and make sure everybody knows where they're going and what time they're supposed to be there. Make sure that they know what instrument they're playing, and they have the right music, because this this bride selected certain songs for her ceremony, the other bride didn't, so there's a lot of moving parts to it. So um, those things are challenging, and what can be frustrating is when something unforeseen happens, like there's a traffic jam and the equipment arrives late, or and it could be a myriad of different things. I remember we did a wedding last year where the bride didn't show up to the ceremony, and the musicians were playing. The people were coming in, and the musicians were playing and playing and playing and playing, and still no bride. And everybody, started to like this little panic of like, well, how long are we going to keep playing, and is this wedding going to happen? And eventually, she did show up, but she put everything back by like 45 minutes, and it was that you can't foresee something like that. So that set the timetable for the entire wedding to be all off, including the food. So um, it was those kind of things. There can be, you got to deal with them.
Awesome. So, how do you currently measure success at your maybe your music way of life or your investment company and all that? How do you measure success?
That's, I guess, a good question. I measure success by how many people we're actually helping. The more people we serve and help, that is, whether it's not about the money, it's about how much we help people. In other words, my goal has always been for Ray of Light Music to have employ as many musicians as I can, and help them help their families, because now they're making money because they're working for me. So the more musicians that I can hire, the better it is for them. Um, Same thing with America's Anointed. America's Anointed, we're helping serving people by getting them more financially educated so that they can benefit their families better by having better investments, knowing what to invest in and then knowing what not to invest in and to how to generate more cash flow and for their that'll help their families out and themselves as well. And the same thing with Holland and James. It's to um, I like I like buying properties in areas that are not affluent. The opposite. I like buying properties and helping people that um, don't have a lot of money that need um, shelter and that's affordable. So I would rather buy a property. For example, I would rather buy a property in Camden than I would in Voorhees. Um, if and whoever's listening to this that lives in the area know what I mean by that. So they're very, very different locations. But I think I would have more of a benefit to people by um, providing housing for people that don't have a lot of income. Yeah.
Awesome. So again, which metrics are you focused on improving in either your Holland and James or the Barrier Flight or your investment company? Which particular metrics are you focused on improving?
Well, as I mentioned, Ray of Light, we had the metrics were to to get close to doubling the amount of weddings we did. So that was the metric that we're pretty close to succeeding as of now. Um, the metric for America's Anointed was to um, have to serve more clients, do more classes, and which that seems to be on the right track as well this year. So that metric is underway, on its way to being achieved. And the metric for Holland and James is to have at least one more property, if not two, this year that I can rent to somebody. We haven't achieved that yet, but that's still the goal.
So where do you want this your company to be in the next 1 year?
The next, how many years?
1 year, 6 months, between 6 months and 12 months.
Um, well, that's not long. So
Yeah.
um, I see each company doing exactly what we're doing now. Um, we are doing some talking on ROL Music about expanding to Arizona, the Phoenix area in Arizona, and starting a kind of like a branch out there. So that's a possibility in the next 6 months to a year. In the next 6 months to a year for America's Anointed, um, I I would like to see probably uh, more traffic as far as me being able to educate people on investing um, uh, um, in 6 months to a year. And Holland and James, 6 months to a year. I hope I have one more property at least by next year. We'll see about that.
Okay, is there any specific KPIs you're tracking in meeting all these your goals? Kind of,
With goals?
you said for the wedding you want to okay for the band, you said
Yeah,
you want to expand to Arizona in next 6 months, right?
yeah,
Then you now said for your investment company you want to see more traffic in your classes, right?
yeah,
Then for the property side of it, you want to get more property to rent to
yeah,
the class you cater for. Let me use the word class. Well, or for the level. I don't want to use it because the class comes with a negative connotation sometimes with
yeah,
the people you are area for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, so you're asking me,
What KPIs, your key performance indices you're having in place to make sure you're in the right direction for all this, for this your
to make
goal.
sure I'm on track.
Yeah, sure, exactly, exactly.
Um, I I don't really measure that.
Okay.
Um, I don't. I really don't. I don't keep track of those type of measurements, and or I know there's a lot of companies that do, especially the big companies. There's a lot of what they call metrics.
Yeah.
I don't keep metrics on those type of things. I look at it as, whatever the Lord opens up for my businesses. That's what happens, and I am not putting a metric out there and saying, okay, Lord, this is where I like to be, and you know, can you help me out with it, or whatever he decides to bless me with, is that's what it is, and whatever, that's what the metric's going to be. Um, I'm not setting them, and I don't measure them. Yeah.
Because they're just saying that what you cannot measure, you can manage. But again, from what you're saying, I can see that you are, oh, is it comfortable with where you are? You're not dreaming to be bigger, or, I don't know how to put it. It's like you are very comfortable with, let me use the word, with your incremental growth. You're not looking forward to like a quantum leap. No, it's not in
Yeah.
your, okay.
Right. Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah,
Right. I'm not looking to, like, for example, I'm not looking for ROL to have a branch in every state.
okay.
I'm not looking for America's Anointed. I'm not looking for myself to have speaking engagements that's going to fill like a concert hall full of people for um, a financial education seminar. I'm not looking for that either. Um,
May I ask why?
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not against those things. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But I'm not really planning for it. Um, and I'm not planning for Holland and James to like have to own like a whole street of houses in Camden. Um, I'm not planning for that either. If it happens, it happens, and it's great. But for right now, um, and even biblically, slower is better. Um, you, small beginnings produce big endings. So it's better to be incremental than to try to take on too much and crash and burn. Yeah.
So if you have a magic wand to fix just one thing in all these your company that is holding you down or back or slowing you down, what would that thing be?
What's holding me down or slowing me down? Well, with business, and this is with all businesses,
Mhm.
what typically slows businesses down, including mine, is cash flow.
Okay.
Every business has cash flow issues,
Mhm.
and most businesses, um, they accumulate debt to help with the cash flow situation. Um, so I guess my businesses are getting to that point where I'm going to have to make a decision on whether I'm going to implement some business loans in order to move ahead and do some of the things that we want to do. And, I have to look at, okay, what the cost is it justified, and and make arrangements to make that happen. Because um, companies, even companies as big as Tesla, um, have those issues. And what Elon Musk would do is he would sell shares of stock, and he would sell his own shares of stock to generate cash flow. So everybody has a cash flow issue in order to move on with the vision that they were given for their companies. And so I have that same thing, and that's going to be um, the next hurdle, or the next big major decision.
Yeah. Having run, I mean, running, from what I can see, you are running three businesses concurrently. Have you thought about making one of them a cash cow, while the other ones, so that at least instead of going out for the funds, one will be generating the fund too? Because even your classes could have that. It depends. And again, just you say you're not looking to have a full class,
Yeah.
tier of people. But sometimes, have you ever thought of trying to raise the funds with one of your business being a cash cow? Have you ever thought about that?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Um, um, America's Anointed has the ability of a greater ability than the other two
Mm.
of fitting that description,
Mm-hmm.
because it has very low overhead. There's not really a lot of expenses
Mm-hmm.
that America's Anointed has or needs.
Mm-hmm.
So that one could very, very possibly end up being the cash cow,
Mm-hmm.
because it's all based on client content. Um, it's based. It's really based on stuff that I just in my interaction with actual people. It doesn't involve anybody else other than myself. So I don't have a lot of expense with that, where I'm like hiring people, or it doesn't require equipment, doesn't require an office. Not really. You could, I can meet people anywhere. And when I teach classes, I don't pay for the venue. When people ask me to teach, they provide the venue, and I teach at their venue. So yeah, that one could possibly end up being the quote unquote cash cow business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why are you not thinking in that direction?
Well, it is. It's already in that direction. It's already heading in that direction. Um, uh, but it's gradual.
Yeah,
Um,
because yeah,
that's that one. Well, that's not the newest. That's the second newest. It hasn't. America's Anointed is not that old. It's only maybe it's only been a few years. So and it's still going to take time. Um, um, but it is moving in that direction.
yeah, because with this AI in place, it will if it's something that could propel that to whatever level you're ready to handle. Let me put it this way. It could propel to that level that you're comfortable handling. But again, it all depends on you. And I mean, the resources are there, the businesses are there. It just depends on which one you want to zero in to be that cash cow. Because you've mentioned Elon Musk and all this. They don't depend on one businesses. I mean, they have more than one businesses, and with that, at any point in time, they can draw from here or there or simultaneously. So, but well, having said that, I'm just saying. I don't know.
No, yeah, you're right. And I have used America's Anointed to help with the other, not so much help with the other bit. Well, like Holland and James and America's Anointed. I have had to use income from those two to help buy equipment for the other. So that does come into play, and I do foresee America's Anointed taking a bigger role in providing more cash flow that's needed for the other companies. Just like how Elon Musk does with Tesla. So he'll sell, Tesla's the only publicly owned company. He has tons of shares in Tesla. Of course, and he gets paid based on shares as well. So he's got all these shares, but if he wants to do something else, he sells the shares, he gets the money, and then he'll buy X, or he create XAI. So it's a similar thing. So America's Anointed, if it becomes that's where my stock is. So all the stock that all the companies that I own is all in I call it AA, is all in AA. AA has all the stock, so I could sell the stock, the assets of AA, and create more opportunities for the other companies.
I think that's very good to know, at least, and you're aware of that, because with AI you can leverage, you can boost any. Actually, there's one. Is it a quote from Warren Buffett? It says, no, it's not a quote, but he was trying to explain, you know, service businesses, and that's why
Uh,
over time. Is it anytime? Because you don't have demurrage, you don't have a uh, what do you call it, expiration date and stuff like that. Your service is the best way to go.
yes.
So if you're doing thing that requires inventory, those are assets that can turn to well, we're an accountant, so you know better. That can turn to what do you call it? When it's not an asset, it becomes a liability.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but with your service company, you can, unless you don't want to do it, but it's always an opportunity to leverage, to scale, and to grow.
Hmm.
So it all depends on you if you have the energy to scale it, or how much you want to put your energy behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Service companies are tougher in that situation, and
yeah,
that's because it depends on how much effort
yeah,
you're going to put into it.
yeah.
So yeah, that's correct. And um, 2 out of 3 of the companies that I have are service companies, so it's going to
Yeah,
require effort. Yeah.
yeah. Hey, Mr. James, it's been nice talking to you, and we really enjoy our time with you. And I
Thank
hope
you.
our audience will really get something from what you've shared today. And can you tell about your classes coming on? Maybe if anybody that sees the video, they're interested, they can come
Yes.
up. Yes.
Um, I will share my email address. So if anybody's interested in attending a class to
Yeah.
learn more about the stock market
Mhm.
and stock market investing and stock market trading,
Yeah.
that is listening here to this podcast, they can contact me at info@americasanointed.com.
Okay.
And I can send them the information on where the next class is and when.
Okay. I'm also going to put it in the description box when we post it, when we publish the video. All
Okay.
right, Mr. James, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir, and we enjoy your time. Have a great weekend. Bye bye. All right.